Hello everybody, it's Matthew here from Bead Spider. How are we all doing today? I'm going to be showing you how to do, we're getting back to basics I suppose. I'm going to show you how to do some multi-strand jewelry. I'm going to do a little bracelet I think. We've got the necklace, so I thought I'd make myself a matching bracelet in the end. But yeah, it's going to be using the Paradise Cat's Eye Quartz collection, which is available from our website at the minute. It is on double discount if you want to get it. So there's two different colorways. If you want to choose one colorway, you get 10% off. If you get both colorways, you get 20% off. So that's more or less the bargain of it. But yeah, I'm sure you've all saw my video last Friday, so I won't tell you too much about the actual kit. You've probably already all heard it, so I won't bore you with that. But yeah, so I've got my cup of tea. I can see in the comments people have been asking about my tea to make sure Jermaine hasn't gotten fired for not bringing it to me. But anyway, so let's see. Purple Penny was here nice and early. Thanks for joining us. She said I was glad to arrive in time. Wait, I could even show it. But she's worried she might miss the beginning. She was that early, she'll get distracted. Hopefully not. Katie's here as well, I think. Yep. We've got Bindi from Malaysia. Welcome to Bindi. Thanks for joining us. We've got Anita in Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you for joining us as well. Wezzy, she's becoming a regular. Thanks for joining us, Wezzy from Lincolnshire. We've got Betty. We've got Ruti from Jerusalem. Thanks for joining us, Ruti. Seema is here as well. We've got Doris. She says good afternoon. Melissa from Michigan. She says good morning all from Michigan. Thanks for joining us, Melissa. We've got Natasha here as well from Rotterdam. Thank you for joining us. And Susan, she says she's new, watching from West London. So she's, yeah, as you're new, a big extra special welcome to you. And anyone else who's new and watching, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. So yeah, like I said, we're going to get back to basics today. I'm going to be showing you multi-strand jewelry. So you can see this is the necklace design here. I should have set it up the photo so I could show you, but anyway, I'll sort of hold it over myself. But anyway, you can see it's sort of this multi-strand necklace just here that sort of hangs very, very nicely. It's a beautiful summer design. I should show you the photo of it on lovely Shannon instead of the one on me. Not so flattering with my beard, I don't think. But the design was originally designed by Maxine. So thank you, Maxine, for lending us your lovely design. She made the original one here, which I should put it on the table so you can see it a little better. Her original design was using, which we took inspiration from, was using the... here we go. No, we're not. Let's just click this little button here. There we go. Yeah, so Maxine's original design was using these gorgeous little beads just here. They are ruby in zoisite. So zoisite is the stone and ruby is sort of flecked all through it. But then she's used this really fantastic seed bead, which it's a red-green hurricane, which you can get it on our website if you want, where it's got half red, half green each bead. So it's two different colors in the one bead, red and green. So that's the original design that we've sort of taken the inspiration from, and we've turned it into something a little bit more summery. Hers was a lovely evening party wear piece, but this exact same design, which shows you the versatility of it, is a really lovely summery piece. So I've done the necklace. Today I'm going to be doing the 3-strand bracelet. So it's exactly the same technique, more or less. It's just a little bit shorter. So the basic design without all the fun colors, here's my little prototype that we made, is here. These are with those same gorgeous cat's eye beads and just one sort of neutral color of seed beads there. I, on the other hand, because I'm using my Paradise Cat's Eye Quartz kit, which I'll show you what you actually get in one. There's a blue colorway, which is called Mediterranean, and then there's like a pinky purple colorway, which is called Frangipani. I'm going to use the Frangipani today, so I'll show you what you actually get inside your kit there. So let me just pop my thread out of the way. I'm getting all things in my way. So you get a big spool of elastic included, which is probably about 20 meters or more in there. You've got all of these goodies. This is what it will look like if you get one at home. So essentially I'm going to be using this. You've got your Paradise Cat's Eye Quartz Collection booklet, which it does cover elastic bracelets and strung bracelets, which is sort of what I'm going to be talking about today. But if you missed last Friday's video, that's when I did it, it does also have lots of really lovely bead weaving projects in. So the diamond bracelet here was a really nice one, which is this piece just here. There's the finished little diamond bracelet there. It also has the wave bracelet. We've got next page, the ripple bracelet in there as well. And then we get onto our stringing and elastic. So 3 projects. There's 3 bead weaving projects, then lots of stringing and elastic things in there as well. So all of that is included. You've got your elastic. You've got 3 strands of your cat's eye quartz, which, like I said, I'm going to be using the pink and the purple colors, but these are the ones from the Mediterranean. So you can see you've got those gorgeous blues. Here's your second one where it's a lovely darker blue color as well, but you still get that lovely cat's eye effect in each of the beads. And then both kits have this lovely sort of neutral tone white. It's like a little bit of a sort of a muted, almost alabaster-like white color, and of course it has that lovely cat's eye fleck to it too. You've got 3 colors of seed beads. So in this one, you've got a light blue, a dark blue, and white. The one I'm going to be using today, you've got a purple, like a lovely amethysty purple, a pinky tone, and then you've also got that same white. And then, of course, you've got your... I'll open it real quick, and then we'll get on with all of the tutorial parts. We don't care about this bit so much. But anyway... you've got 10 meters of your tiger tail jewellery wire included, which is what I'm going to be using today. A really good quality 0.3 millimeter that's pretty kink resistant. You've got some of these gorgeous crystal rondelles, which, if you don't know what they look like, they are these sparkly little fellas just here in the gap. You can use those. You get 20 of those included as well. You've got 20 meters of your beading thread plus the beading needle as well. So there you go. You can see we give you one of them too. You've got a little assortment of charms if you want to put some charms into your bracelets or necklaces and things as well. And then we've got some clasps in here. So we've got a toggle, we've got a lobster, we've got our crimps and little silver beads, all sorts of things in there. So that's what you get in your kit. But like I said, today I'm going to be showing you that 3-strand design. So it's going to be very similar to this one in design, but in color, it will be where we make all the interest. So you can see Jermaine made this one here to use as like an evening wear, which this one uses the mountain gray, I think it is, and then it's a transparent black seed bead for this one here. But I'm going to be using, here we go, ready? So I've mixed the 3 different colors that you get with your frangipani kit. So you've got, there it is, that lovely color-lined sort of soft pinky tone there. You've got a really vibrant, well, it looks quite dark on the camera. For some reason, the camera doesn't like purples, but it's a really lovely silver-lined purple tone in there as well, which, why it's not showing as purple, I don't know. Hopefully it'll show a bit better with this fella. Nah, whatever. And then, of course, you've got your gorgeous white as well. So I've just mixed them up for this design because I think it's a really fun way to play with your threads and things to make that design extra nice, a bit more summery, doing it all mixed colors. You can, of course, do it one color here, one color there, and so forth, just to get it a bit more even. If you're more of a symmetry person, you can do it that way. Like, for example, this one here, it's the exact same technique. I've just sort of, instead of doing a mixture of colors, I've used both my my Mediterranean blue and I've used my frangipani in this one, which this one here, it's not actually a necklace. Surprise, surprise. This is just single strand strung little design. It's actually a double wrap bracelet. So you can you can wear it. It's a little bit too big for me, but you can see you just pop it on like that and wrap it around your wrist twice and it becomes a lovely little double strand bracelet. So that's one way of doing your multi-strand things, but that's not really quite what we're talking about today, is it? We're talking about doing it so that it has actual 3 multiple different strands. The first thing that you need to do though, when it comes to working out how your bracelet is going to look, or necklace, is figuring out the size that you want it to be. So first things first, we have to get a tape measure and measure the size that we need it to be. So I've got myself one just here. I, being an Australian, like to work in the centimetre side, but of course you can always work in inches, so I will tell you both. This is just one of Jermaine's sewing ones just here. So I will essentially measure the size of my wrist, because we're working with a piece of jewellery with a little clasp there. I don't need to be too worried too much about the sizing, because we do give you an extension chain for your clasp if you want. So essentially I would need somewhere around about a 7-inch bracelet, which equates to around about, it looks like, in the vicinity of 18 centimeters. So there you go, there's the 18 centimeter, 7 inches. That's pretty much the size of my wrist just here. So that's the piece of information that we need to remember, and we can sort of do our maths, as it were, based off of that. I can see I've got lots of comments coming in. I should read some of these. I haven't been reading them. Maxine, she says, thank you for the credit. That's right, it's her design. Thanks, Maxine. She's at home with Rocket today, our new little kitten. Let's see. Betty says, I love those colors. I love them too. I think they're really nice. We spend a lot of time choosing the colors. Unfortunately, the purple doesn't look nearly as lovely as it does in real life on the camera here. Someone says I have tiny wrists. You're probably right. I've got little girly wrists for a bloke. Let's see. Where are we? Here we go. People are chatting. I know there was a question there. Anita says, so pretty. I love the blue mixture. Yeah, the blue mixture is really, really nice. I think the contrast of the two blues and the white together. But wait till you see what the purple looks like. The purple looks equally as good, I think. Plus, you can sort of mix and match them, sort of change the amounts of beads that you put into your mix to make it more white, more purple, more pinky. It's kind of fun like that. Someone's talking about a new baby. I'm not sure. Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, so let's continue on. So essentially, like I said, I need to remember that 7-inch measurement. Once you've got your little cat's eye beads, like so, I've got a little, well, I've got some blue ones in there too. Once you've got your cat's eye beads, more or less, you need to figure out how many you want to use. So essentially, what I quite like to do is sort of plan out how I'm going to do it in terms of the features. So if we have a look at this one, what I mean by the features are the beads that stand out the most. They're the biggest ones, and they're the ones that are going to catch your eye in a design. So in this particular one, you can see I've got little groups. I like kind of odd numbers for the most part, because it's easier to get symmetry with odd numbers than even numbers. Even numbers are a little more difficult to get a really perfect symmetry down the center, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But anyway, as you can see here, we're just going to choose how many beads it is that we want to use. So this particular one here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, which in terms of the length of a strand of cat's eye, which, did I get one out? Yes, here we go. 16 beads is about a quarter of my length. So that means I've still got 3/4 of a strand's worth for the necklace. I'm going to use, this one here uses triple the number of the little beads just here, those little 6mm cat's eye beads, which if you're wondering what materials I'm using today, I should pop it up on the screen for you. Here we go. The materials today are, there we go. So 6mm cat's eye quartz. I've got Preciosa size 10. Ah, no, it's gone off my face. There we go. Yeah, so essentially, oh, I'm missing one of my little file things. Doesn't matter. I'll just hide the logo, I think. Nah, it's okay. We'll leave it. But yeah, so essentially, once we've determined our size, we've determined how many beads we want to use, we can sort of space them out together and figure out from that to work out our overall length. So because I've sort of already started myself, I've done 2/3 because just sitting here watching me string beads would be boring, boring, boring for you. I've kind of pre-threaded myself a couple of them so that you don't have to sit there and watch that. But anyway, so you can see I've sort of using the same layout as I've got just here. And I've done one where it's all just little gaps like this. I've got one where I've got, so that's, where are they? Here we go. See, there's the one there, which it's all the single beads in the gaps. Let's zoom in a touch so you can see. See, there's all my just single ones where I want to put about an inch in between. And then I've got another one here, which is very similar again, but it's sort of going to try and fit nicely into the center of each of these little gaps here. So it's a similar sort of size, but I kind of like it being a bit more organic, a bit different, sort of not too samey with the precision of the sizes. I like it being different odd amounts, strange quantities and whatnot, just because it makes it a bit more interesting when you're actually wearing it to visually, rather than it all being perfectly the same, perfectly symmetrical. This is a bit more summery, a bit more beach party, you know what I mean? So anyway, I've got my first 2 strands already done, which if I'm going to follow the same principle as my base piece just here, I need a group of 3 and 1. So basically I will just pick some beads. I'll go my group of 3, maybe I'll go with the dark purple in the center because I think that will stand out nicely. I'll go with a pink and a pink either side, and then I'll use a white and a white. So this is going to be my length of beads that I'm going to use, which I'll interdisperse with this mixture of beads just here. So once we've sort of figured that out, we just need to measure the total length of this little piece just here. So that's going to tell us how much more we need to use out of our 7 inches. So if I have a look here, I've got my 7 inches. The way that I find is easiest to know how much you've got to do extra is to go and start at that 7-inch mark. So if you start at the 7-inch mark, you don't have to try and figure out how much less you need after. You just measure it here and it will tell you I need a little bit less than 6 inches. So again, this is a nice easy sort of way to do it, that you can sort of do it that it's evenly spaced if you want to, or you can sort of mix your spaces up so that they're a bit more clustered to the center. So because I've got about 6 inches, I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 little spaces. So what could look nice, where approximately 6 inches, is about an inch here, an inch here, an inch and a half out there, and an inch and a half out there. It's not quite enough yet, so it needs to be a little bit longer, isn't it? Because that's only 5 inches, and then we've got about an inch to play with. So I could add a little extra here, maybe add a little extra there, pop some on either end. The good thing is that you can sort of play around with it a little bit as you're going. There's a fantastic little tool that I've got, which is this little fella here that makes the process super easy for sort of varying those lengths if you want to. It's essentially, I'll show you it. I've got one just here. It's called a thread stopper, and it's a little coil spring fellow like this, and essentially all you've got to do is pop your thumb underneath, your index fingers on either side, and as you do this, there's enough gap inside there to just plop your little thread in. So once you've got your tiger tail, there's a lot of benefits to using these little fellas. So if you haven't seen them, I'll tell you more about them in a bit. I'm missing all of the comments. There's so many comments flying through that I'm missing. Katie says, I've got a kitten. Yes, we got him just 2 weeks ago. His name's Rocket, and he lives up to the name, and I'm absolutely covered in scratches from him. He likes to play with my hand as his chew toy. So yeah, these are Essence de Rocket. I'm covered. You can see they're everywhere. They're even all the way up here on my arm. You know, he's naughty. He's naughty. But yeah, So now, this is a good one. Here we go. Shelley says, I like symmetry, but my daughter made me make a bracelet that was not, that was hard, but it turned out well. I know exactly what you mean. I kind of like the symmetry as well. It depends. These sorts of daytime fun ones, I think they benefit from being less symmetrical. But of course, if you're going to be wearing something that's meant to be more sophisticated, more stylish, symmetry is going to give you that effect really, really easily. Much like, where's Maxine's one? This is, surprisingly, it's a bit of a mixture of both, where it's both symmetry but not. So the gaps between, they've got an exact number of beads. The number of beads on each string is exactly the same every time. So that gives it a symmetry, but it still has that organic look about it, which you can easily do. So, so yeah, now that I've got my 2 threads sorted, I'm going to do my third little thread here. And essentially, like I said, because I need to do 6 inches and I've got 4 little gaps in total, I could do 1.5 inches in each gap, really. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. But I want to cluster them a bit more to the center. So I'm going to do 1 and 1, and then 2 and 2 on the outside. The nice thing as well, which is another benefit of using these little fellas, is that once you've kind of figured out your sizing, you can, well, I'll show you it in a minute. So I've got this one, I've started the process just here. See that there? And I've done myself about 2 inches of my my work here, and there's my first little bead. Looks like Jermaine's done it ever so slightly differently, so I'm going to have to mix up my plans. I wanted to do it purple and then the pinks, but maybe I won't. So I've got about 2 inches there. This as well is a nice way to to try and keep your colors sort of mixed match and organic, is you kind of don't do anything too drastic. Just sort of thread your thread through and let it pick them up as it will on its own. It's not happening for me, of course. And just sort of let it come onto the thread. Come on now. I haven't got a big enough pile, I don't think. Need to smush my pile larger. Just push that through there. And just keep going. And it makes it way quicker to thread too, because you're not really looking at what you're doing. You're just sort of getting some beads coming on of their own accord. There we go. That was a good one. I got 5 there. And it gives you sort of all different colors and chunks of things quite quickly, quite easily. If you want to sort of make sure that you've got more purple, for example, you can just grab some extra purple and go, do you know what? Let's make it purplier. Let's add a little bit more of this purple color, because then, statistically speaking, the higher the likelihood that we'll actually get some purple in there. So I'll just mix it around a bit more. And I'll thread them down until I've got about 1 inch worth, which I'm almost there, really. In fact, I've probably done it already. Let's do 1 more purple bead, just because I like the purple. So there we go. There's about 1 inch of extra beads just here. You can be more precise if you want to be very precise. Get your little measuring thing out and go, how long is this piece? And you'll see, there we go. We're just a teeny weeny fraction over 1 inch, which is just, actually, I've got exactly 1 inch. Look at that. How perfect was that? That was quick and easy. So I'll just pop on my next bead. So I'll do all 3 of them. You could, of course, if you wanted to, use some of these in the center of your design for a bit of extra sparkly bling. Of course, you can mix and match whatever beads that you want at home. That's the great thing about stringing, is that you can use pretty much any beads that take your fancy. You can just sort of cut up necklaces that you have at home as well if you want to. You can reuse your beads. It's not like they're going to go off or anything. It's not like they'll go bad. Though you'll be able to use them again and again and again forever and ever. So it's never really a problem when you're doing stringing. When it comes to figuring out what beads to use, how to use them, if you don't like it, you can just undo it and sort of start again. So you can see there, I've just added 1 little bead here, 1 little bead there. That's going to give me a tiny bit of extra space. which sort of gets me about halfway there, but I'm going to continue a little bit more. I'll do about an inch again, and I'll mix it through. So I'm going to just twist these all up. And let's just start threading them nice and quickly. There's a few. Do you know, I added all these extra purple. I didn't manage to pick up a single one. Oh, there we go. There's some. And then just keep threading, just keep threading. I feel like Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep threading, just keep threading. So you can see it comes together pretty quickly. Look at that. It didn't take me long at all to get those. And of course, because I'm not really thinking about it, I'm getting a really nice sort of mix that's not very regular. It's really difficult to be intentionally random. So just let the universe do the randomness for you. And just sort of thread your thread through and hope for the best. There we go. So we can see I've done that section. That's bound to be enough there. If you want it to be exactly precise, you can grab your ruler, grab your measure, and go, where are we at? And you can go, oh, I think I may have done a few extra beads too many. Yeah, I've done about 3 beads too many. Oh, maybe I'll take those off. Do you know what? I don't care. We're going to leave it like that. It doesn't matter. It's I'm sure there's going to be people at home tearing their hair out going, oh no, the symmetry, where is the symmetry? I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm going to punish all of you symmetry lovers. People's OCD is going to be going off the scale right now. So anyway, there we go. That gives me sort of an approximation just there. And now I just need to get my total length to that full size, which Jermaine's made this one, I think, a little bit bigger than the 7 inches that I measured because she wants to wear this over the summer. So because I'm not going to be wearing it, it's more close to her size. So let's just check exactly where it is. And you might be thinking, oh no, if it's not quite the right size, well, I've already threaded this. How does that mean I've got to unthread the whole thing? No, it doesn't. You'll see in just a moment. So this is a little bit closer to 8 inches. So I can now match this side. So I'm going to make it so that it's as close as I can get it to be about this length. So that shouldn't take us too long. And then we'll get on to the actual tips part, tips and tricks of actual stringing, getting it perfect, looking great, because that's a nice, quick, easy little process. Let's mix these up again to get it more random. I don't want to get too much of any one colour. Oh, didn't get any on it that time. There we go. Get them on there. Almost push them on if you wanted to. Just sort of, yeah, that's working pretty well. Just push them against. Keep going. A few more. And when we get to the end of this part, that's when we can sort of finesse our exact size and shape and everything to be exactly the size that we want it to be. So, of course, it is important that you get the measurements in the center accurate, but these outside measurements, not so important. You can sort of do those a bit later if you prefer. It's kind of really easy to do it that way because you'll see in just a minute, we're going to sort of have the ability to just mix them and match them and try them around and play it around and get the size exactly even. Because I think with this style of bracelet, it definitely benefits from all the strands being the same length overall. Where with the necklace, the little necklace that we've made, this one actually benefits from each strand being just that tiny bit different in size. So one is half an inch shorter, the other's about half an and we've got the shortest one, then the next one is about half an inch longer, and then the third one is about half an inch after that. And then when they sit one on top of the other, they puddle really nicely to give you a really nice sort of even effect. So we've got some good questions. Katie says, could you use a bead spinner on larger beads? Well, you don't even have to use it on larger beads. You could use a bead spinner on these little ones. Jermaine's got one around somewhere that she uses for her beaded flowers that she does. Hint, hint, maybe there's a class coming in about a month's time. But yeah, seeing as I've got my class this evening, I can mention that for next month's. So yes, you can most certainly use a bead spinner. And this one's a good one. Betty says, I need symmetry. Well, Betty, have a go. Try it. You might surprise yourself. You might find that you actually really, really like it. So yeah, let's continue on. I'll do a few more little beads, and then I'm going to lay them all approximately side by side to one another. And then this is like my sort of favorite part about it. You'll see. This is like the best thing about this little tool that I've got here. So if we have a little look, this is about this size. This is, yeah, close enough, near on the same. So what I can do, which I think is quite fun, is I just choose which thread I want to be my first thread, which one I want to be in the middle, and which one I want to be on the other side. So I'll just thread these down. And let's take it off this one here. So just pop that off. See, that comes off really easy. You just put it together like that. Press it, take it off. Which if you want to get one of these, just check out the link in the description. We've got these little fellas in there, and we also have our kit with the double discount, which is not going to come up. Here we go. There we go. Which, here you go, there's the information that you're going to need to know about this. So there we are. I've got this just here. So I'll just slide these down to make sure my threads don't come off of this little piece here. I don't need my seed beads in shot so much anymore. And I'll just drop this in to this gap there. And now you can see I've got all 3 threads on this one little spring here. So once I thread them all down to the very, very end, you get an approximation for the sizing. So you can see really quickly which ones need to be longer, which ones need to be shorter, and so forth to be exactly the right size. So if I just position them here, I'll zoom out a teeny touch so you can see absolutely everything. There we go. So you can see just here, if I get them nice and straight now, just slide this down. The reason I use this right at the very end is because the little spring can sort of kink your wire a little bit, so it's not too important. But yeah, so I'll just slide them down, and I can see straight away, because I want them all to be the same size, this one's a little bit short, this one's close, it's sort of in the middle, and then this one's a little bit longer. So all I need to do is add 2 beads to the middle one and 1 bead to the other. If I have a look, though, at my beads just here, I can sort of figure out exactly where I want them to be. That hasn't happened. There we go. There. So yeah, I can sort of figure out which side it's better for the additional beads to go on. So if I look at the gaps just here, this one I probably want it to maybe slide. See, look, these are a little close together. Maybe I'll add the 2 beads onto this side. It's going to just sort of slide everything a little bit this way. This one, on the other hand, I think it's pretty nice. So because I've got to add 3 beads, maybe this side's a little close, I'll add 2 to this left side and 1 to this side. So I'll do the first few threads first. So I'll do 1 bead on this side. This color doesn't matter. And I can use my second stopper to do the other end. So I've got another little stopper just here. See, here it is. There's my other stopper. And let's just slide these all down. Move them out the way. And just like I have before, let's lay them out. And I'm going to pop them into this other spring just here. So I'll put this one. We'll do it close to the end again so that it's not going to kink any threads. Pop this in there. Pop this one closer to the middle. And then this one can go closer to the end. Got my concentration tongue out, of course. There we go. Pop them in there. And now I'll just slide them all down to the other end. And take off my other one. Pop that off there. And when I bring them down, you'll see they are now nicely attached to the other side. Wait a second. Where are we? There we go. Just get them nice and flat, nicely in position. and I'll just do my check once more to make sure that I've got it exactly the way I want it to look. And move this over, and we can see, slide them up, nice and neat, and then we can see almost. So we need to just do 2 beads on each of these threads here, and then it should be pretty nicely even, all 3 of them. So let's pick up this one, and I'll do my 2 beads here. So let's get one of these white ones, one of these purple ones. And this is just a fun little tip to getting it looking great, looking perfect, exactly the way we want. There we go. That's pretty much even sizing. I'm pretty happy with that. That looks good. Same size now. And I'll add one more bead to this one. And then I'll just zoom in and I'll show you how close they really are. There we go. Slide this into the middle of the screen. And now slide them down. And ready for this. Ta-da! Look how neat and perfect they are. So there you go, Betty. Even though it's not as symmetrical as you like, that's got to be satisfying for you at least. At least. Here we go. So let's just zoom back out. And I'm going to show you how to finish off this final little design. So essentially we've got it strung, we've got it looking perfect. I'm really happy with how that looks. So I'm ready to complete it now. I like that I've got this one in the middle. Like I said, I've sort of used odd amounts and even amounts together. So let's just zoom it a little bit closer into my central section. I know it looks pretty higgledy-piggledy, but it's fairly symmetrical when you really look at it, which is the surprise. But yeah, so you can see my middle thread, because I've done an odd number on this side, that means you've got 1 bead exactly in the center. This one has an even number of groups. See, look, 1, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, which means I've got a gap in the center, and then that means perfect for the center. I could do it the other way around if I wanted to, that the central thread has a central bead and then the other 2 are even numbers, but more or less, as long as you do either 2 evens and 1 odd or 2 odds and 1 even, it will be exactly the same. So let's Melanie's just joined us. She says she's looking forward to the class on the weekend. Do you know what? I'll take this as one last final opportunity for people who haven't seen it. Before I do the actual stringing final part, let's take a quick look at the Bead Spider website. I'll spend no more than 2 minutes, I promise. If you want to join up to the class that Melanie's talking about, I'm actually doing our Ivy beaded necklace. It's going to be on this weekend. So if you're going to sign up right now. If you're in the UK, you just click on this. If you're in the UK, you can come down. These are the times in the UK. So if you're in the US, don't do the morning class. It will be like 4 o'clock in the morning. Do the afternoon class because that will be your morning. I think 4 p.m. here in the UK is about 11 a.m. in New York. So I think is it 3 hours difference from one side to the other? Maybe it'll be about 7 a.m., 8 a.m. In like California if you do this one. Just below that as well, if you're in the UK, you'll get yours in time if you order today, probably, because we'll hopefully send it out today. We've got the Ivy beaded necklace in 3 colors, but you have to choose your class time first, otherwise it won't let you add it to your basket. Right, that's all I'm going to say about that. As for our class today, if you want to get the kit, there's a link in the description that says check it out, the kit. There's 2 different colors and so forth, or view all related products. You click that one right there on the homepage and you can see the double discount, 20% off if you get both colors. So you save £12. I'll show you all of the different designs that you make. I've got them all chilling out just here, floating around somewhere so I can show you them all. But each one of these will make 6 different pieces of jewelry. So if you want to get just the one colorway, £26.95, you're saving yourself £3 off that just there, 10% off. This one just here, also 10% off, which is pretty much £3 off each one. If you get our double discount, you get £20 off, 20% off, which is £12. If you also want to get those thread stoppers, you can scroll down. We've got all of our We've got some of our cat's eye here. We've got more of them elsewhere. Some of our findings. We've got our threads. Those little stoppers, they're not even in here. Where are they? Are they saying they're out of stock on the website already? Okay. Jermaine, Andrew, if you're watching, put them back in stock. Those little thread stoppers, I'm sure you're going to want them. We'll put them back in stock now. So sorry they're not there right now. Give it 2 minutes. They'll be back in there in just 1 minute. So let's do some stringing. Oh, just in case you're wondering what the ivy looks like that Melanie is joining us for on the weekend, essentially this is the finished design. Just here, it's a really gorgeous long pendant necklace where you learn helix stitch for the chain, which makes it really long necklace that hangs at sort of bust length. You'll learn how to do this three-dimensional beaded drop. You'll learn how to make this gorgeous little leaf with St. Petersburg, and then you've also using fringing to make this little leaf as well. So all of those are included in the class if you join up. So if you're going to do it now. It's pretty much the absolute last opportunity that you will get. So if you're going to do it, go and do it now. Right, back to some stringing, shall we? Let's finish this little piece off. So the easiest way to get a nice, clean, neat end like this is to bring all 3 wires together into a single bead. So you can see just here, I've put all of my wires through this one 4mm bead just here at the base. So see that just there? So essentially what I'm going to do, first I'm going to greet Sarah, who's just joined us. She says, hello, Sarah. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a lovely morning. I assume you're in the US if you're saying good morning. Here we go. Melanie says, this is a good question. So Melanie, if you want to order a second Ivy kit separately, but you've already booked the clasp, you don't need to worry. As long as you're logged in, it knows that you've bought one before. So it goes, okay, you own this class product. You can buy as many kits as you want. If you want to get all 3, you can get all 3. If you want to get one more, get one more. You can do that really, really easily. As long as you're logged in, it knows you've already bought it and lets you buy it again, buy just the kit on its own. Very, very good question. Important to know. So, like I said, I'm going to get myself one of these 4mm silver beads. I really quite like using these little fellas just here as a nice, clean little finish at the end. So I'll just thread through all 3 of my threads. First thing I'm going to do, actually, is find the tools. Where are the cutters? Wait, I've left them just over here. Here they are. Of course, they're just a fraction out of reach. There we go. Got my pliers now. I knew I was forgetting something. So anyway, I've got myself a nice long piece of thread. I don't need so much on the end. So I'm going to just cut off all 3 of these little ends together so that they're matching in size and shape. And if it's been, you can, if I show you just closely, you'll see. So see how it's a little bit kinked just there? That's from the thread stopper thing. So if you're really, if you're not careful, it will do that. So you need to sort of be aware and add an extra couple of inches of wire to cover that little kinked section so you can cut it off and you don't need to worry about it ever again. Here we go. So now all 3 wires, now that I've got them perfectly in my hand, cut, plus if I hold them in my hand, they stay nicely together. I'll put all 3 wires through that one silver bead just there. I don't really need to slide it all the way down to my beads yet, because I can slide on my first half of the clasp, I can slide my beads down to it instead. So put my 3 wires through there, just plop them down for a second. I've got myself some crimp beads, which if you haven't seen crimps before, they are itty bitty little tiny fellas, really, really small. So there's the size of my finger just here. There you go, normal person-sized finger. There is one little crimp, and essentially all of your jewelry wire passes through those, through that little crimp just there. Hi to Monica, by the way, who has just joined us. And if you're still watching, I know Annette in Australia, she's in She's in Victoria. She sent us a special message. She says she's always watching me, but she doesn't comment. So if you're there in bed, even though it's really late there now by Australian time, I would think, if you're watching, thanks for watching, Annette. And I'm glad you could join me once more. So anyway, now that I've got this, I'm going to thread my crimp bead over all 3 wires as well, like so. Slide it down. I've got myself, this is the clasp that comes. You do get a lobster and an extension chain, but I think I might do a toggle because I really like toggles. This is the toggle that you're going to get. It's got this really lovely floral little pattern just there. Melanie has just asked, do you stock bead mats, tools, threads, snips, wire cutters, etc.? I'll show you where. We've got some, not too many left at the minute, but I'll show you where you can find them on the website. In fact, it will only take me 3 seconds. I'll do it right now. Here we go. So here we go. So if you have a look up the top at the menu, it says stringing and wire. Click on that, and then you can see, tools and supplies, the very, very top one. And then you've got all the tools and the supplies. You've got your bead weaving supplies, which that includes like your fire line, your illusion cord. Let's see, what supplies have we got here? Actually, we can have a look. All tools and supplies. We've got our pens for pen wraps. There's that thread-on stopper. It's back in stock now, thankfully. Thanks, Jermaine or Andrew. Split needles, sort trays, jump ring openers, beading needles, bookmarks, looms. I thought we had bead mats, but maybe they're out of stock now. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question very, very quickly. But yeah, let's continue. So yeah, there's my little toggle. I'm going to thread one end of my toggle now through my wires. We want to make sure my crimp is over all 3 wires. That's very important. And if you want for extra strength, you can even use 2 little crimp beads, which I don't need to, but I will just to show you that you can. Thread on a second little crimp just for extra strength if you're worried about that in any way, shape or form. Thread them down, pop your clasp on, and now I'm going to just thread all 3 wires now, loop them round like this. So see that? I've gone through this little one, I'm going to loop it round and go back down through these beads just here. So through my little crimps, through that 4mm bead, make sure I don't miss any of them. There we go. There they all are. And then now they're pretty nicely through. I can pull them all, but you want to make sure that this stays fairly even, fairly symmetrical. So you can just sort of pull them one by one if you want to. Get it close so that it's almost there. And then find the sort of size that you want the loop to be. You want it to be fairly nice so that you can actually move the clasp around. So just pull them one by one till it's the right size and they're all about even and they're all matching. And then you've got one much cleaner looking loop there. If that's too big, see how I've got it this size? That gives me the leverage to move. I might even make it just a tiny bit smaller. It doesn't need to be quite as large as that, but any smaller and you'll start to sort of make it difficult to move your lobster around. So you've just got to now bring in your pliers. So as long as they're flat on the inside, this is the most important part. It doesn't matter which pliers you've got, as long as they're flat on the inside, like this one just here, no ridges, you just come on in, and you can give it a good old squeeze. So I can even do both of them at the same time. I'll do both of them at the same time. First, get that 4mm bead out of the way. I don't need it. Squeeze it nice and firm so that they go flat. So see how they're flat now? That's why they're called crimps, because you're crimping them flat. So they're squished. That's what secures them to the wire. So now I can come in and give that one a squeeze, give that one a squeeze, give it a bit more, and make sure it's super firm. Now, check it with your fingernail to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. That's pretty good. That's firm. That's solid. That's never going anywhere ever, I dare say. Let's see. Here we go. Someone else has just joined us, Claire Butchie. She says, hi from Florida. Hi, Claire. Thanks for joining. By the way, who is here that's never watched before? If you're brand new, send me a little message saying hi, and I'll pop your little comment up, and sort of we can all greet you if you like, because I'm a big fan of sort of spreading the love, spreading the bead love. So if you're brand new and you've never joined in before, say, hey, I'm new, so I can introduce you. Lovely sip of tea. So now that I've got that, essentially what I can do is thread these beads down. I don't need all of this wire, but this is a fun little trick here. Trim it to be just short of where this wire sort of starts. So it doesn't need to be too long. I'll cut it about here. There we go. And just get rid of those extra bits of wire. They've just disappeared somewhere out of existence. And now essentially I can just do one at a time. I can thread them up and sort of join one of these to each of these. So I can slide these beads down, and you'll see it just threads straight through all of those beads, which is kind of a handy little thing to do. You want to make sure that your wire is going through a few beads. Then we can do the next with the next one. So let's stick this wire and this wire together. And again, let's slide them down just as before. Get them down to the end. There we go. Happy with that. And now do it with the final one, which is this one just here. Join them together and slide these down. And now we have the wire inside covered, because you don't want to cut these wires off too short, because it will make it difficult to sort of use the jewellery for the strength of it. If it loosens at all, it's all going to just come apart. So now I can just get rid of this excess beads here, and you can see sticking out is a little bit of thread from there, which I'll just come in very, very carefully and cut that nice and close to the bead, but make sure you don't cut any of your other wires. So just cut that one off. Do the same with the next one. Do the same with the third one. There we go. And that's going to give me one very clean finished end. So because I've got them all sort of laying out, if they're going to pop out or anything, you can just cut off any excess if you need to again. It's not a problem. It's very, very easy. You can see this one sort of just popped out of a couple of beads. I can just get rid of it. Oh, I've got a bit of jewellery wire in there. There we go. Just get rid of that and cut that last little bit of excess bit off. There we go. Perfect. Now it's much more neater. So slide them all the way down now, and we're going to repeat the same process with the other end. So we can see this has kept my threads in the right order. This one's here, this one's there, and this one's there. So essentially, they stay very nicely where they should be as we sort of continue along. And now what I'm going to do is essentially repeat the same process. So I'll take the 3 threads off, which, get my thumb in there, take them all out. We're not going to cut this end short just yet. Well, actually I will. I'll make all 3 of the ends the same size, so they end about here. Let's get them all ending at the same point. And now I'll get my 4mm bead, which I've lost. No, I haven't. There it is. Take my other 4mm bead there and just thread all 3 wires through it, like so. Slide it all the way down so that our threads are really secure now. See, this we can use as like a little stopper that will push our threads nice and firm at the end. Right, let's see. Who's new? I see we got lots of people who said they're new. Faye, she says, I'm new. Thank you for joining us, Faye. We've also got Linda. She says, I'm new to watching, but she's ordered from us before. So thank you for watching. I'm glad you could be sort of part of the tutorial. Tyler from Tennessee, is that? I think. We've got another one here from Naperville, Illinois. Sadaf, it says. Thank you for joining us as well. Faye's in the UK. But yeah, so thank you everybody for joining, for watching for the very first time. If you're new, by the way, and you want to try out some of our patterns for free, if you want to sign up to the Bead Spider newsletter, you will get a £5 voucher to try out some of our beading patterns. So there's a little link there that says, give me my £5 worth of patterns. Click on that little link and you will get your patterns, a little code sent to your email that you can then use on any of our beading patterns. There's a link in the email that takes you straight to where the patterns are, and you just shop, find the ones you like best, and then as long as you've got at least £5 worth of patterns, for some reason it doesn't work if you've got £4.95. It just thinks that then you're owed negative money and it goes, oh my god, this isn't right. So you've got to have £5 in there, put it in, put the code in, and then Bob's your uncle. It'll be for free and you'll get it emailed. But make sure you make an account, because then you can access your patterns anytime you want. You can download them even 3 years from now, 5, 10 years from now, straight from your same page. And we've got one other, Stacy from Florida, the Sunshine State. So welcome to Stacy Gonzalez as well. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Oh, also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, of course. That's always important. So let's get this little piece finished off now. We've done one side. Let's do the other. Let's just take our little wire through all three. I've put my crimp on, by the way, in case you missed that. I've got my 4mm bead. I've got my crimp on. I could do 2 crimps, but I'll just show you the difference between the two. It's very, very minimal. Through all three, which this is part of our Paradise collection, by the way. If you missed that at the beginning, our Paradise kit makes lots of goodies. There's a lot of different projects in there, 6 different projects, predominantly bead weaving ones, but then you've also got elastic for making really nice elastic bracelets with Jermaine's signature technique for doing the elastic, which I think the video's now got 750,000 views, 750,000 views. And as Betty suggests, exactly, this is a great little beginner's bracelet. It is. It's exactly what this is, but it's always good because there's always new things that you can learn to improve, even when you're getting back to basics, just little tips, little tricks that you might not know that I can sort of enlighten you to. So let's just thread through all 3 of these. I'll loosen it up a little bit so that I can also thread it down some of the beads. So bring them nice and close together. In fact, I might just trim them a tiny bit because one of them is a bit rogue. There we go. And all 3 through the crimp and through that 4mm. Come on now. Get in there. Behave, Mr. Friend. You could do them all one at a time, but that's not my style, is it? I always try and save myself time by doing it the difficult way, which then works out 5 times longer every time. That's my modus operandi, as they say, my MO. So yeah, now I can just thread them into a few little beads, each little one. So let's just take this one down into a few beads from this one. Doesn't need to be down too many. 5 or 6 beads is enough even. So just bring the 2 threads together. So instead of trying to thread the actual beads, I'll show you. You hold the 2 wires together. Let's get these out of the way. So yeah, see how I've got the 2 wires, hold them together, and the beads just slide over. Pull it through a few. And when I find my end, I can just give that a little pull And that's going to be secured on there now. Just zoom back out again. So you can see this thread is now secured. So I can grab my next one. Slide them back down a bit. Here's my next thread. Pull my third one as well a bit more, I think. And I'll just align those two together. So my middle one here, thread a few beads down. Find where it is. Where's the end of that thread? That thread, Rick. Come on now. Pull this one a little bit more. Here we go. There it is. So pull this one down now a bit as well, not all the way yet. And now this last one, we've gone through this one, we've gone through this one. Time for the third one. Join them to each other. One right next to the other. Be better if I'd left myself more thread than this, but oh well. Thread them down. Push that in as well. And now it's sticking out. I can just pull that. And now one by one, I'm going to pull them down a little, not all the way yet, because we need to get rid of the gaps in our wire, which if you have, there's another tool that's super useful for this point, which if I've got one, hopefully I do. Wait there. Here we go. My round nose pliers, which are these just here. This is my favorite tip when it comes to stringing. So because we know that the threads are coming from, this is where they start and this is where they're going in. See, like so. They're all going in the same direction, thankfully, because I did them at the same time. I can slide everything down as far as I need it to go, get it super firm, super tight, nicely in position, make sure there's no gaps in the wire whatsoever. Push, push, push all the way down, get all of those gaps out of the thread, and then I can just one by one use my, wait a second, where are you? One of them's a bit short for some reason, all of a sudden. Yeah, that's why. So slide this down, and get them all nice and even. There we go. Into position with no gaps in your wire. And now once they're relatively all nicely, there's a bit of a gap in this wire just here, so I need to just be a little more careful with this one when I'm, it's a bit twisted funnily enough. Just slide that one down, slide this one down, slide this one down, and there. That's going to help get rid of that little gap there. There we go. See, now we're nice and close. There's a tiny bit of a gap there, but that's going to be fine. And all I've got to do now is just pull them a little, get them fairly close to where I want them. So see, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you can see this is now almost there. They're pulling from this side, and this front side is the side that's coming through. So if I just pull that there, and now this is the trick. This is my my numero uno stringing technique trick. Use your round nose pliers, which have a very fine tip, right in that little gap, just before your crimp bead. And because they're blunt, they're not going to do anything to the wire. And now you can pull your wires down and through, and it will help you to get a really, really lovely firm tension, because you got something to grab against at the beginning. And now that kind of gives you a nice size as well for your end. You can give them a little extra tug, but it helps to make sure that it's nice and clean little finish there. Get this nicely in position at the end, and now I can just take my pliers, let's move it, and give that a good old-fashioned squeeze. Squeeze, come on! There we go. And now all I've got to do is just cut off this excess bit of wire. I mean, you can thread them through a few more beads if you want to. of course, which it should be easy enough to just sort of bend them back in over on each other and get them. But there we go. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Make sure you don't cut any of the other wires, which is the bad thing about this shape of this cutter that I had, but this is all I've got at the minute. Just here, I couldn't find my other ones in the 4 seconds I needed to find them, so I've used these, but they're fine. And then ta-da, we have one perfectly finished bracelet, looking fantastic. Just there. In fact, I can just see some of my wires are just poking out at the other end, so I can just fix those up now too. It's always easiest to fix these things right at the very, very end. And ta-da! One perfectly finished bracelet. Oh, that one's not in the middle. There we go. And now you just pop it on your wrist. Oh, it's massively zoomed in. I only just realized how zoomed in that was. Sorry. Let's hope I wasn't... Could you go over the crimp bead with a cover? Yes, you absolutely could. Really, really easy. So I'll just show you it very closely just here. There's your one little crimp bead. You can even just squeeze the wires, and then if you've never seen them before... I wonder if I've got one just here somewhere. I don't know. Have I got a crimp cover floating around here? Doesn't look like it. I could have showed it to you. I did that last time. But essentially they're just like little horseshoe-shaped fellas that just go over the top of these and you just close them up. And it looks like a little round bead. But yeah, there we go. You could absolutely... There we go. Do that just there. And there's your nice, fully finished little design. And of course, you just pop it onto your wrist. Well, I'll just show it to you. And then there you go. So see how I said that the sort of organic look about it makes it look a bit more interesting, a little bit sort of more organic-y. Ah, great. I've been given a crimp cover so I can show it to you. So here we go. So I've got my little crimp covers, or I just made a big fat mess. I'll show you how to make one little crimp cover. So if you do 2 crimps, it's not going to be as easy. You need to make sure you leave space for these. In fact, I don't know if I've left space enough for 1 crimp cover, just because I wasn't thinking about doing it, but I'll put it on. Oh yeah, there'll be space there. So crimp covers are these little fellas here. See that? So essentially a little horseshoe shape that you pop your crimp into, and then when I use my pliers, you'll see in just a second, you squeeze it down into the shape of a little round bead. So just pop that little crimp cover like so. Come on, focus now. Here we go. So there's my crimp inside my crimp cover, like that. You might need to smush your wire a little bit tighter because I didn't leave enough space. You should leave space if you're going to add a crimp cover, but I wasn't thinking I would do that. But hey, it'll be fine. Let's wing it. So you just, this is the easiest way to do crimp covers. If you've got a bead mat, let the bead mat do the holding. The bead mat will hold things for you much better than your hands will. You know, especially if you're like me, my hands shake and wobble and things. But essentially, you can just drop that into the standing up one, and it's holding my crimp cover really nicely. And then you just give it a tiny squeeze with your pliers and just sort of work around little by little by little until eventually you close it into a nice little circle. I might have to just pinch my wire a teeny bit to get it to sit because I didn't quite leave space, but should fit actually. Good. And now if you look, see how it's sitting like this where it's a little bit open at the front? You can just push that little mouth in. That opens up the hole around the crimp a tiny bit. And then eventually, sorry, little by little, just tiny little squeezes, little squeeze in lots of different directions. And ta-da! Now it looks like you've got a finished little bead on there. So you can see there's the little lip just there. If I zoom in, you can just see it. I got a really clean closure. Oh, no, too much. There you go. You can just see the lip. Closes up nice and clean like that. See that? There's that tiny little lip, which when you zoom out and you're not looking at it from 4 centimeters away, you can't even tell. Look at that. Just looks like a bead. Easy. So that's how you use a crimp cover. That's how you make a nice summery multi-strand bracelet. If you don't want to make a multi-strand one, but you want to make it look like a multi-strand one, just make one really, really long one. See this? Just one long piece. And then it works in exactly the same way, where this one I've sort of cheated and I've used colours from both kits. But if you make it triple length, it'll look like a triple strand, but you've only got to do one strand. So whichever method is better for you, but I guess you've seen now. Oh, what's this story? People are talking about stories. I want to hear stories. Wait. Oh, yeah, this one. Did Matthew have surgery on his hand, or am I imagining a scar? Yeah, so I've got a massive one. Wait, I'll show you. Starts here. Comes around the back. It's almost faded on the back here. Comes all the way here, but that's as straight as my finger goes. Doesn't bend properly anymore. But yeah, I did that one. I wasn't even drunk, by the way. Before you ask, I know it's coming. That's always the next question. Were you drunk? No, I wasn't. I was sober. But essentially, I was in Berlin with one of my friends. And do you know what? Even though I have this big scar down my hand, I'd probably do it exactly the same way again if it was tomorrow. Just because, essentially, we walked about 20 minutes and then we ended up in this dead end of a road and there was like a fence. And if you... All I had to do was climb over the fence and then I could have just continued on, no problem, get on with my life. Or I have to walk back down 20 minutes and then around, and it would take me 40 minutes to be on the other side of that fence. So me and my friend, we were like, hey, let's climb the fence. Either way, it didn't end so well. So my hand, well, I won't go into the gory details, but essentially, yeah, not so fun. Ouch. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, luckily, as Jermaine says, luckily I'm left-handed. This is my right hand and I'm a lefty. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It's just annoying when I have to hold seed beads because I can't quite. They all fall out. Anyway. Whoops. But yeah, so essentially, I'll show you everything that you can make with the Paradise kit. I'll show you the... no, I showed you the booklet, didn't I? So you've got this little design here. This is one of them, which this is the same. You will make this little design here. This is one of the designs that comes with the kit, which if you're wondering, I've been making from the Paradise kit today, which if you click on the link in the description there on our website, it's to take a look at, to view the two different colors. Here is what it looks like. By the way, we've put bead mats on. So if you want a bead mat, they're here now. So we thought we'd put those up for those who want them. But either way, I'm using the Paradise kit here. So this is the Mediterranean blue just here. We've got the frangipani just there, which is the pinks and the mauves, which is what I've been demonstrating with just now. But they're 10% off until next Sunday. No, this Sunday. This Sunday. It's only Wednesday today, isn't it? This Sunday. They're on sale till this Sunday. But if you want to get 20% off, so double the discount, get this one here. You add it to your basket and you'll save £12 and you'll make all of these little designs. So that's where these are coming from. If you're wondering what am I talking about, this is one of the designs, which is called the Ripple. This is the Wave bracelet, which is another one of the designs in the instruction booklet that you get. Oh, here it is. You've got So all of these were made with just one kit, by the way. All of these demo pieces I've got floating around, including the 3-strand necklace. So this one here, plus here's a nice little elastic bracelet. The double wrap one. All of these things can be made from the one kit. Here we go. This is the other one, the diamond bracelet it's called. All of these, I demonstrated all 3 of these designs on Friday. So if you want to learn how to make these, you can watch my tutorial that I did last Friday. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so that if you enjoyed today's tutorial, you see what I've got coming this Friday. Because we are live every Friday, so I'll be back again this coming Friday. But these are the 3 that I did last Friday. But yeah, you can do a multi-strand bracelet, you can do a triple wrap, you can do the wrap bracelet, you've got elastic ones. There's another purple elastic one floating around that's multi-strand. All of them were showing up at the beginning of the video, but anyway, all of these were just made from the one set. So you can make 12 pieces of jewelry if you get more, probably, if you get the double discount bundle. But anyway, that's probably pretty much everything for today, I would think. I guess we're done and dusted with today's tutorial. So I know it was just a nice, simple, easy little basic technique, but it's always good to go back over those sorts of things, learn some new things possibly. You know, sort of hone your skills, learn things that you might not have known before. It is a really, really easy little process to make. It's super, super simple little bracelet. It looks really, really effective. You could also do it as the necklace, which looks quite nice. I think it's the 3 colors together, I think, has turned out really nice. Especially because you can have them looking separate from one another, or you can have them all sort of crisscross over each other and looking really sort of beachy and fun, which I quite like. It's a really modern style, I suppose, of design. But yeah, you can even use the exact same style, the exact same technique with just one color and make something that's a little bit more evening wear, a little bit classy maybe, something fancy like that. But it's easy to sort of just twist your threads if you want to and have them all sit nicely. So really, really easy. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. I will be back on Friday, of course. I'm doing my class on the weekend. So if you're going to sign up for the Ivy necklace, which there's 3 different colorways. Here is what it looks like. A really lovely little lariat sort of necklace. With some really interesting pieces that you can make into earrings and all sorts. There's some good techniques in there. I know we've got lots of people signed up, but we do have a couple of spaces left still. I mean, well, it's on Zoom, so there's always going to be extra spaces. But yeah, that's the little pendant of the necklace there, and it sort of just goes over the top. It's a nice bust length one. So yeah, if you're going to sign up for that, do so. If you're going to get our Paradise collection, which includes all of those things I showed you at the beginning, plus the booklet, which covers 16 pages, this booklet, has all of the different projects in there, and this one's not stapled, I just realized, and full instructions on how to do it all for each of the designs. It's all covered with photographs. Often we do diagrams as well. There's the next design. Stringing, using this little fella that I was using as well. Single strand. And then Jermaine's elastic style in single and also in double. How to put on your charm bits as well. It covers a lot. So all of those there come included in the one kit, which is our Paradise collection, which you've got until Sunday if you want to get the introductory discount of 10% off, or our double discount 20% off. But yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. I'm going to be back on Friday, as I said. Betty says, thanks, I've not seen those little bead stopper springs before. They are great. Here we go. It's very interesting how a simple thing can look so good. Thank you for the good video. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Doris. Thank you. let's see, what will I be doing on Friday? We're still finishing it off, so I can't actually show you it, but it's going to be more bead weaving style, not more stringing. It'll be more bead weavy. And then, no, that's not the one I meant to do. Here we go. Thank you for today's tutorial. This is a fun piece. Enjoy until Friday. So thanks for watching, Sandy. She's going to be doing my class on the weekend, of course, so I'll see you then. Monica, she also says thank you. But yeah, lots of people still here, which is always great. Thank you all for watching. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Get your free patterns if you haven't done so before. There's a little link there in the description if you want to get those. Again, like I said, why not? You get £5 worth of our beading patterns. We have a lot of patterns that we do. I think we've got about 120 now. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of that sort of jazz. And I will see you all on Friday. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely rest of your week until Friday, I suppose. And I'll see you then. See you later. Bye-bye.